excited for this live show because this is gonna be so crazy. Good morning, everyone. I apologize for laughing so much, but we're gonna be breaking down a lot of stuff. So, good morning, beautiful people. Hope you all are thriving, not just surviving. So, right now, of course, it's a really intense moment. Also kind of scary. We're living in really uncertain times, and it's hard to know where to go from here. So today, I'm kind of taking it a little bit easy, but also it's still very educational, informative, but also entertaining. You know, there's a lot of focus on Trump and his executive actions. We talked about yesterday how he is literally ignoring what the judicial branch is doing, which goes against the separation of powers. And also Doge is going through and literally just firing endless amounts of people, leading to planes falling out of the sky because they don't have air traffic controllers. Anyway, so we have a lot of stuff that's happening, but also nothing underscores this moment for as absurd as it is as what we're going to be talking about today. So there are a lot of Republican lawmakers that recently just got elected or re-elected, and they're trying to show that they care about their constituents. That they care about their constituents. I'm totally joking. So we're going to be going through, I believe it's around five or so bills that have been introduced in the House of Representatives by Republican lawmakers. You might recognize some of these faces. So these are just some of the folks that have introduced legislation that is really, really wild and absurd. And we're going to be breaking down all of it. I'm super excited. So let's start with this one right here. So for those people who do not know, there's a guy named Addison McDowell. Addison McDowell represents North Carolina's 6th congressional district. It is this gentleman right here. Now, I do not live in his district, but I am close by. I live in North Carolina. Addison McDowell is a first-term congressman. He was someone that served under Ted Budd and Richard Hudson in North Carolina. These are prominent Republican lawmakers. He introduced a bill. Out of all the things that's going on in America right now, out of all of the things, we need to lower the prices of prescription drugs, lower the cost of housing, lower the cost of groceries. We need to take on the gun violence epidemic. We need to actually stop allowing health insurance companies to profit off of our healthcare. Out of all the things, climate change continues to happen. He's like, you know what we need to do? We need to rename Washington Dulles International Airport to President Donald Trump Airport. Out of all the things that a congressperson can be doing to serve their constituents, they're like, you know what? No, this demands our top priority. Girl. So House Republicans are pushing legislation to rename an airport after President Trump. Now, this was on Instagram. This is not a representative poll of the nation of any kind, but this graphic was from an account called The Normal News, and it was just a quick little anecdotal account. Again, it's not scientifically representative of the population. How do you feel about this? Yes, love it, rename it. Please stop renaming things, or I have no opinion on the matter. Representative Addison McDowell introduced the bill alongside Representative Guy Reschenthaler, Brian Jack, Ann Riley Moore, and Brandon Gill to rename the Dulles International Airport in honor of Trump. Quote, "We have entered the golden age of America, largely thanks to President Trump's leadership," McDowell said. "It is only right that the two airports servicing our nation's capital are duly honored and respected by two of the best presidents to have the honor of serving our greatest nation." It is so wild. It's like, you know what? This really just shows their priorities. It shows their priorities. Don't you think it would be a way better use of time to actually tackle the opioid crisis? Don't you think it'd be a way better time to actually reform immigration in this country? Like, just put the shoe on the other foot. Let's say that Democrats wanted to rename the Washington Dulles Airport the Joe Biden International Airport. Republicans would be having a field day. And look, they're not wrong. because it would give this illusion of progress. Like, oh wow, we're renaming things. We're renaming things as an illusion of progress. Go and just check out my latest post. To anyone that possibly is defending this, think critically. If this was someone else, a political party that you do not see eye to eye with their ideas, and they were doing this, wouldn't you be calling this out? Wouldn't you be calling this out as a waste of time? Wouldn't you claim that we should be focusing on other priorities? And look, you would be right. If you're going to rename something, do it when someone is dead. Why are lawmakers focusing on this crap? Let's just look at some of these comments here. Someone said, I voted for Trump, but the slobbering is unbelievable from Republicans. He is not the Messiah. He is just a dude. And I wouldn't be surprised if more Republicans even held that position. Oral office nickname is back after 20 years. These are established grown men and women, by the way. Aren't these the same people who were mad about places named after Confederates being renamed? Anything but help the price of groceries and affordable housing. The meat writing is crazy. I hope this lowers the price of steak. And this is only the start. I'm starting off with the lowest of low. It gets worse from here. Golden age for who exactly? Might as well take our tax dollars and burn it. Please stop this clown behavior. Again, cult behavior. And when looking at this bill, it's House Resolution 691. So this is actually, it's not a bill, sorry, I should say. It's a resolution. So, Republican voters, do y'all not see this as an insult to your intelligence? Or are you so brainwashed to think that this illusion of progress by renaming things is a good use of our taxpayer dollars? Anyway, this is just the start. It gets worse. So the next one is by a guy named Andy Ogles. So this gentleman here. One of the first things that he did was he introduced an amendment that allowed people like Trump to run for a third term, but not presidents like Obama, Clinton, or even Bush. So Andy Ogles, who is a Republican from Tennessee, proposed this amendment, which was amending the 22nd Amendment to allow for certain presidents to serve a third term. Well, who is this guy? This is the type of guy that uses his kids and family and posts a Christmas card picture with pew-pews. And I've covered up the kids and the wife for privacy reasons, but this is just the type of guy that we're talking about. So you're like, okay, well, what's in this amendment? Andy Ogles has drafted a constitutional amendment that, if ratified, would allow President Donald Trump to run for a third term. However, the measure is worded specifically to prevent former presidents like Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Bill Clinton from returning to office. Now, this 22nd Amendment states that no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. So this was put in place after Franklin Delano Roosevelt won the presidential election 4 times and died in office. And he was super, super popular. That all being said, this House Republican introduced this amendment to allow Trump to run for a third term, but not other presidents. And you're like, well, how did he word it? So it said, no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than 3 times, nor be elected to any additional term, additional like 4 years, after being elected to 2 consecutive terms. So you can't be president if you served 2 consecutive terms. You can't be president a third time or elected a third time if you served 2 consecutive terms. Well, Obama served 2 consecutive terms from 2008 to 2012, from 2012 to 2016. Bill Clinton also served 2 consecutive terms. George W. Bush also served 2 consecutive terms. But you can run for a third term if you were previously elected for 4 years. Then there was another person, let's say Joe Biden, and then you run again, you win, and then run for re-election. So this amending this 22nd Amendment specifically is designed only to make it legal for Trump to run for a third term. Hypothetically, yes, into the future too, but it seems pretty convenient that you introduce it like this right now. So again, obviously this is the biggest thing amongst the priorities of, people in the United States. Voters obviously want Donald Trump to run for a third term. That's the biggest, most important thing. I'm just joking. No, voters want to lower the prices of prescription drugs. They want to stop their landlords from excessively price gouging them for their rent. We want to actually increase healthcare access and tackle those barriers? Why do you think Luigi Mangione is so popular? There are so many different health insurance companies that profit off of people's pain. We need reform to the system, not trying to tweak amendments to allow for their person to run for a third term, but no one else. And there are Republican voters that clap along thinking that this is the best thing since sliced bread. You do realize that renaming an airport or sponsoring or supporting this does nothing to physically improve your life. It doesn't lower your rent. It doesn't lower the cost of prescriptions. It doesn't tackle price gouging within groceries. It doesn't do anything to materially benefit your life. It doesn't increase your healthcare access. It doesn't stop the gun violence epidemic. It is so dumb. These people view you as cogs in their machine to get elected for their own power and laugh at you when you are suffering the same ilk as other people like me who want to give you healthcare, who want to give you prosperity. This is the resolution, as I was pointing out. This is the specific language that is within it. It's easier to read here than it is on the actual document itself. There's that one. There's the renaming of the airport. Are you all ready for the next one? It gets better. It gets better. Are you all ready? Let's move on to this one. So this is real. This is absolutely real. Breaking. Representative Paulina Luna introduces legislation to carve President Trump on Mount Rushmore. No, you heard me right. You heard me right. Anna Paulina Luna, I think she's a second-term congresswoman from Florida, introduced legislation to put Trump on Mount Rushmore. Now, I want to pause here. There were several people that, and I'll get to this in a minute, going to the comments. Several people that are like, yeah, I visited Mount Rushmore recently. Actually, the people there say that it's not possible for us to add another person because of the structural damage, and it's uncertain that we can actually do that without risking damaging the rest of the monument because of all the geological factors. Wasting our taxpayer dollars trying to put someone else's face on a monument. Look, if Democrats were to have passed a bill trying to put Joe Biden's face on a monument, I'd be like, how about we spend our time trying to tackle gun violence? How about we do something else that actually helps the American people? Like, you notice how we did Mount Rushmore when Mount Rushmore was carved after all these people were dead. If you want to find a way to honor someone, do it when they're dead. It is just insanity. I just find this I just find this too funny. And if you thought this is just self-owning, in my opinion. Think about it. If you are a Republican lawmaker and you get elected by saying, I'm going to tackle the corruption in Washington, lower the prices of blah, 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 and then this is their first action, like, that is not a good look. I've officially introduced legislation to put President Trump's face on Mount Rushmore. His remarkable accomplishments for our country and the success he will continue to deliver deserve the highest recognition and honor on this iconic national monument. Let's get carving. And so this person's like, WTF, no money for cancer research or feeding children, but let's waste money on this? Also, of course, you had these seal clappers that were all up in the chat. And may I just point out, this is just creepy. This is just creepy. It's not even a good carving of Trump. It just looks cringeworthy. These people have lost their minds. No, they truly have. I don't think that the lawmakers here have lost their minds. It's the MAGA cult people have truly lost their minds. Truly lost their minds. I am way more concerned with trying to give people healthcare, tackling affordable housing, ending the gun violence epidemic, actually doing things to help people. Meanwhile, these people are focused on platitudes. Do they think critically for a second? No. It's all a distraction. It is. It is. And of course, people are like, ooh, God already started carving his hair. It's meant to be. What? It's just, and to all these people who are like, yeah, it's owning the libs. First off, carving a face of Trump into a mountain is not owning the libs. It's literally slapping the American people in the face because they're using our taxpayer dollars to put up a stone-carved monument of a person's face. Meanwhile, don't you think we could actually tackle real issues that we have facing our society? American people we are not supposed to idolize treat people like kings. We hold our leaders accountable. This is an absolute waste of our taxpayer dollars. Love you, Scott. Love you, Nadine. I love the education. We're in class, kiddies. So, there's this one. Again, Anna Paulina Luna, a Republican congressperson, is like, my first thing upon my re-election is to introduce a bill putting Donald Trump's face on Mount Rushmore. Just think about it for a second. If this was a Democrat, putting Joe Biden's face on Mount Rushmore. See, and this is the thing. Republicans embrace hypocrisy as the brand. They don't care about the actual issues. They don't care about the looks of it. They're going to sell you that crap sandwich and make you devour it. Because that's what they do. This is the dumbest mess ever. Why waste money on this? What program will end to pay for it? Where's the money going to come from? And it's like, good God, find something productive to do, please. How about focusing on carving away the $36 trillion mountain of debt? And this really just shows something. This would explode all the Dems' heads. It's going to be a bloodbath. This really speaks to the testament of MAGA. They don't care if their lives get worse. They don't care if their healthcare gets worse. They don't care if they're paying more for prescription drugs or more for housing. They just profit off of trying to make other people feel pain. This is why I call for empathy. This is why I call for critical thinking all the time. So all of this is just meaningless distraction. Let's do another one. Oh, and by the way, before I even point that out, former South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, which Mount Rushmore is in South Dakota, just as a reminder, actually met with the president this is like in 2018. They had an exchange. Kristi, come on over here, shake my hand, said Trump. Noem said, I shook his hand and I said, Mr. President, you should come to South Dakota sometime. We have Mount Rushmore. And then Trump goes, do you know, it's my dream to have my face on Mount Rushmore. Noem thought he was joking. She said, I started laughing. He wasn't laughing, so he was totally serious. Now, this is the next one. It gets worse from here. So you have one lawmaker that his priority is trying to allow Trump to run for a third term. One lawmaker whose priority is renaming the Washington Dulles Airport after Donald Trump, not doing anything to lower the cost of eggs, lower the cost of groceries, lower the cost of prescriptions, tackle affordable housing, end the gun violence epidemic. Nothing to actually help education, fund education in this country. And this is another person. This Republican introduced a bill to make Donald Trump's birthday a federal holiday. A federal holiday. Meanwhile, do you not realize that Donald Trump, I'm pretty sure that he got rid of Juneteenth as a federal holiday. So you get rid of one federal holiday and now you want to make his birthday a federal holiday. And I want to point out that Donald Trump's birthday is June 14th, which is also known as just in general Flag Day. June 14th is pretty close to June 19th, which was a federal holiday, but he removed it. So this Republican, Claudia Tenney, introduces a bill to make Donald Trump's birthday a federal holiday. No, we're not in a cult. We're not in a cult at all. This is North Korea level stuff. Yes! Yes! So Representative Claudia Tenney, who represents New York's, who's a Republican who represents New York's 24th Congressional District, introduced a bill Friday that would establish President Trump's birthday, June 14th, as a public holiday. Oh my God. The Trump's Birthday and Flag Day Holiday Establishment Act proposes the recognition of both Trump's birthday and Flag Day celebrated on June 14th as federal public holidays. Just as George Washington's birthday is codified as a federal holiday, President Trump's birthday should also be celebrated to recognize him as the founder of America's golden age. Golden for who? Golden for who? Well, George Washington was born on February 22nd, but President's Day, marking his birthday, is celebrated on the third Monday of February. Notice how they call it President's Day. President's Day. It's not George Washington's Day. It's President's Day. It's just wild to see, oh, well, George Washington has a day named after him, so why don't we do it for Trump? This is a waste of our taxpayer dollars, y'all. He's rewarding this behavior with positions. It won't stop because it's how they get his attention. Yeah, no, seriously. So these lawmakers are putting this kind of stuff on Twitter. Just as George Washington's birthday is codified as a federal holiday, President Trump's birthday should also be celebrated to recognize him as the founder of America's golden age. This is why I'm strongly considering running for Congress. Because there are Congress people that are spending their time doing shit like this. Why don't we do something to help the American people? Why don't we do something to tackle affordable housing? Why don't we do something to lower the cost of prescription drugs? Why don't we do something to stop the gun violence epidemic? Why don't we do something to stop planes from falling out of the sky? Why don't we do something to fund federal agencies so that things get done? Why don't we do something to help homeless veterans? Why in the world is Congress focusing on trivial, non-meaningful things like this? It's so stupid. It's so dumb. For anyone that's like, you know what? Am I qualified enough to run for Congress? Am I good enough to run for Congress? Am I ready? Oh yeah. You're ready, hun. You're ready, sweetie. Because like, this is the kind of stuff that our lawmakers are doing. I asked myself, I'm like, Scott, you are 26 years old, going to be turning 27 in July. Are you ready to do this? I am going to say it. I am 100% way more qualified than people like this. And it's not about me. I'm just giving that as an example because like these lawmakers are proposing to rename airports after Trump. Think of it if it was Joe Biden. Like how far up there do you need to be? Are you that hungry for Donald Trump in that way? Yeah, no. Scott, do what they do. Run as a Republican, then switch to Democrat. That is what they seem to do in North Carolina. You know, Trisha Cotham ran as a Democrat and then switched to Republican in the state house. Like, girl. So, and like, is this a joke? He's a criminal. Is what someone, and then this is Jasmine Crockett saying, the problem is that America thought it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him president of the United States. And then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States. And if we don't wake up, then we may not have a United States. I love Jasmine Crockett. She's such a mood. When looking at this, don't be stupid. I'm one of your constituents, and this is a waste of time. This issue should come only after he dies. Mrs. Tenney, I love your idea, but we already have a holiday on June 19th. Wouldn't it be possible to have Donald J. Trump Day in August instead? Okay, no. We don't need a DJT Day. We don't need a DJT Day. If you want to do something like that, do it when he's dead. So, there's that one. And then, let me just get to this one here. Oh, thank you. Ooh. So, thank you for the little thing here. Let's get to this next one. This bill from this Republican lawmaker is to rename the not even acquired territory of Greenland Red, White, and Blue Land. Like, we don't even have Greenland. And this person's like, we're just going to rename it. Let's rename it. Girl, this is so dumb. This is so dumb. I hope the American people see how much of a waste of time all of this crap is. Tell me, does renaming Greenland lower the cost of prescription drugs for you? Does it lower the cost of housing? Does it tackle the opioid crisis? I don't want to live in a country that puts things like this out there. I don't want representatives that rename things as a waste of time to give this illusion of progress. Renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America does not do anything to lower the cost of housing. It does not do anything to stop people from dying from a lack of healthcare. It does not put shoes on the feet of homeless people. It does not do anything to help anyone, ever. Doesn't do anything. Yet that's what our government focuses on. Oh, just let people die from a lack of health insurance. But hey, we renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Aren't we patriotic? It's so fucking stupid. It's so stupid, y'all. Why are we doing this kind of stuff? It's the silliest thing. We don't need it. So, if you're like, well, who's this guy? Representative Earl Buddy Carter, a Republican from Georgia, put in a 2-page bill entitled the Red, White, and Blue Land Act of 2025, would authorize the president to enter into negotiations to acquire Greenland and rename Greenland to Red, White, and Blue Land. God. But President Trump has correctly identified the purchase of what is now Greenland as a national security priority. Yeah, I wonder why he wants Greenland. He wants the rare earth metals, oil, and resources underneath it so that he can give it to someone like Elon Musk. who's our actual president. And we will proudly welcome its people to join the freest nation that ever existed. Free for who? Free for who? Anyway, so this is the actual bill itself. You can see in here. It's HR 1661. There you go. Just, these people, you can't make this up. You can't make this up. And just reading some of these comments, USA became a live skit of The Office, a live episode of The Office. Please stop embarrassing us. The USA is just dipping their toes into deep into someone else's water, huh? OMG, I thought this was The Onion's account. What a joke. This guy is playing Risk at this point. Oh, wait, is this satire or for real? What kind of shit show we ended up? Yeah, no, seriously. This can't be true. This is so ludicrous. We're literally living in an SNL episode. We're paying their salaries to do crap like this. These lawmakers have nothing to do. Maybe Doge can take a look. I'm so embarrassed that we live in this country. What about this makes America great? Real estate guy thinks the world is his market and his alone, and countries are like companies. Yeah, this will surely bring down the price of eggs. It's wild to me. This is what Republicans are focusing on. This is their MO. They are focusing on renaming airports for Trump, carving Trump's face into Mount Rushmore, renaming a territory not even owned and operated or even held by us as red, white, and blue land, making Donald Trump's birthday a national holiday. This is I want off this ride. Yes. We need to do way more things. It should not be radical of me to say as an American that we should reorient our priorities to actually serve its people. And for any seal clapper MAGA that is like, oh, this is a good thing. Sorry, I don't want to live in your country. I don't want people like that to be thinking that this is somehow a good idea. Like, I can't English right now. I'm so frustrated. And meanwhile, we have an unelected billionaire going through and looting our country and rewarding himself with subsidies and contracts. Meanwhile, you fire so many people in charge of maintaining nuclear weapons, and now they are trying to rehire those people because they're like, oh crap, we don't know how to control these now. This government is one of the most absurd ever. These Republicans are not focusing on actually serving people. And this is why I'm really strongly considering running for Congress.